The Zohar, even its name whispers of ancient secrets, of forbidden knowledge, of something truly profound that has shaped the spiritual landscape for centuries. It stands as a towering, enigmatic edifice in the world of mysticism, a book so powerful, so controversial, that merely speaking its name in certain circles can invite a shiver down the spine. This isn't just another religious text. It's a living, breathing testament to a hidden universe, a mirror reflecting the deepest mysteries of creation and our place within it. Imagine a book guarded for generations, its truths unveiled only to a select few, its very existence threatening to unravel traditional understandings of faith. What kind of power does a text hold to be so revered, yet so feared? What dangerous truths might it contain that compelled some to hide it away, while others risked everything to study its verses? The journey we're about to embark on is one into the heart of this enigma, to peel back the layers of myth and misunderstanding surrounding the Zohar. We will explore its origins, its core teachings, and the profound impact it has had on not just Judaism, but on wider spiritual traditions. Prepare to have your perceptions challenged and your understanding of the divine expanded as we delve into the cryptic world of the Zohar. We'll begin by facing head-on the Zohar's ominous reputation, a shadow that has followed it through history. And real quick, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos. Now let's get started. For centuries, merely mentioning the Zohar could inspire a mixture of awe and trepidation. It wasn't just another commentary. It was seen as a gateway to powers both divine and potentially perilous, a book capable of elevating the soul or plunging it into grave spiritual danger. This reputation wasn't born from fear alone, but from the very nature of its content and the intense discipline required to approach its wisdom safely. Legends abound of individuals losing their minds, attempting to decipher its cryptic passages without proper guidance, or stumbling upon truths too potent for an unprepared soul. This wasn't a book for casual reading. It was a sacred, almost living entity that demanded respect, humility, and a deep, ingrained understanding of its esoteric language. The rabbis, especially, warned against its study by the young or the uninitiated. They believed that without maturity of spirit and an extensive grounding in conventional Jewish law, one could easily misinterpret its symbols, leading to heresy or dangerous magical practices. This created an aura of forbidden fruit around the Zohar, making it even more alluring to those seeking deeper truths. Many felt it contained such explosive secrets that it had to be protected, not just from outsiders, but from those within the community who weren't ready. This ominous reputation, however, only fueled its mystique, preparing the ground for the fierce debates surrounding the Zohar's origins and its mysterious author. The very existence of the Zohar is shrouded in a profound mystery when it comes to its authorship. For centuries, traditional belief attributed the primary authorship to Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, a revered sage from the 2nd century CE, a contemporary of the Mishnah. This notion lends the text an immense weight of ancient authority, placing its wisdom directly at the source of early rabbinic Judaism. However, the linguistic style, the terminology, and even some historical references within the Zohar itself raised significant questions for later scholars. These elements suggested a much later composition, specifically pointing towards 13th century Spain. This discrepancy ignited one of the most intense and enduring scholarly debates in Jewish history, fracturing various camps. Was the Zohar truly an ancient text, a hidden revelation passed down through generations until its opportune moment to emerge? Or was it a brilliant, perhaps even audacious, work of a medieval mystic, cleverly framed to appear ancient to gain acceptance? This question isn't merely academic. It strikes at the very heart of the Zohar's authenticity and authority. If it was a medieval creation, did that diminish its divine inspiration, or did it make the genius of its true author even more remarkable? This deep uncertainty about who penned these profound words only deepened the Zohar's intrigue. forcing its readers to grapple with its wisdom on its own terms, regardless of its timeline. It's this very mystery that compels us to look closer at what those words actually say, beginning with the Zohar's core concept, the unfolding of divine emanations. The Zohar plunges headfirst into the mystery of creation, not as a singular event, but as an ongoing, intricate process of divine unfolding. At the absolute core of its teachings lies the concept of the Sephirot, 10 divine emanations or attributes through which the infinite, unknowable God, Ein Sof, reveals himself and interacts with the universe. Think of them as channels or vessels through which the divine light flows, each one a different facet of the same ultimate reality. Before anything existed, according to the Zohar, there was only the Ein Sof, an omnipresent, boundless light that completely filled reality. For creation to occur, a paradoxical act of divine contraction, or tzimtzum, had to take place, creating a primordial void. Into this void, the first spark of creation burst forth, initiating a cascade of lights and vessels that eventually formed our world. These Sephirot are not separate gods, but rather aspects of the one God, much like different qualities of a single human personality. They descend from the most abstract and transcendent, like Keter, crown, and Chochmah, wisdom, to the more manifest and immanent, such as Yesod, foundation, and Malchut, kingdom, where finite reality begins. Understanding this flow is crucial, as it's believed to mirror the structure of the cosmos and the human soul. Each Sephirah represents both a divine attribute and a stage in this cosmic dance of creation, forming a complex diagram that is central to Kabbalistic thought. This leads us directly to the visual representation of these profound ideas, often called the Tree of Life diagram, which makes these abstract concepts tangible. To grasp the intricate dance of the Sephirot, Kabbalists developed what is arguably the most famous and recognizable symbol in all of mysticism, the Tree of Life diagram. This isn't just a pretty picture. It's a powerful cosmological map, a symbolic representation of the entire hierarchical structure of creation, from the divine down to the physical world. Each of the 10 Sephirot is depicted as a sphere, interconnected by 22 paths, representing different channels of divine energy and consciousness. The tree organizes these emanations into 3 pillars: the pillar of mercy on the right, the pillar of severity on the left, and the central pillar of balance. This structure highlights the dynamic interplay and necessary equilibrium between opposing forces, giving and receiving, expansion and contraction, judgment and compassion, that maintain the harmony of the universe. It's a blueprint for understanding both the macrocosm of God's creation and the microcosm of human existence. Studying the Tree of Life is not just an intellectual exercise. It's a meditative practice, a way to visualize and internalize the flow of divine energy. By contemplating the relationships between the Sephirot and their pathways, a practitioner seeks to understand how divine light descends into creation and, crucially, how humanity can ascend back towards union with the divine. The Zohar dedicates extensive passages to describing these interconnections, making the Tree of Life a living, breathing guide for spiritual growth. This profound diagram, however, was never meant for casual perusal. Its complexities and potential for misinterpretation reinforced the belief that its wisdom was forbidden to the masses, a restriction we must now explore. The Zohar's profound wisdom, embodied in concepts like the Sephirot and the Tree of Life, was historically considered far too potent and complex for widespread consumption. It was not a text meant for the uninitiated, the intellectually immature, or those lacking a deep grounding in traditional Jewish lore. This restriction wasn't about elitism, but about profound spiritual responsibility and preventing potential harm. Rabbinic authorities throughout history expressed grave concerns that revealing the Zohar's secrets to unprepared individuals could lead to dangerous misinterpretations. Without the necessary framework of conventional halakha, Jewish law, and a mature, disciplined mind, its symbolic language could be misunderstood as polytheistic, leading to heresy. Furthermore, the Zohar delves into powerful meditations and mystical practices that, if performed incorrectly or without pure intentions, were believed to be spiritually perilous, even psychologically damaging. The fear was that individuals might bypass the necessary preparatory stages of Torah study and ethical conduct, jumping straight into advanced mystical concepts they weren't equipped to handle. This could lead to arrogance, a distorted view of God, or even a pursuit of mystical powers for selfish ends. Therefore, the Zohar was kept as the purview of a select few, typically male scholars over the age of 40, who had proven their intellectual and spiritual mettle. This strict limitation, while perhaps frustrating to outsiders, underscored the sacredness and perceived danger of its contents. It also cultivated a sense of mystery around the text, deepening its aura as something truly profound and uniquely challenging. But how could such profound ideas be conveyed in a way that protected its depth while hinting at its truth? This brings us to the Zohar's unique mode of communication, the language of hidden worlds. To convey its intricate mystical concepts, the Zohar employs a distinctive and often deliberately obscure language. It doesn't speak plainly or linearly. Instead, it uses a rich tapestry of metaphor, allegory, parables, and cryptic allusions. This isn't merely a stylistic choice. It's fundamental to its very nature, a practical necessity for communicating truths that transcend ordinary human comprehension. The Zohar believes that the deepest spiritual realities cannot be truly grasped through intellect alone, nor can they be adequately described by everyday words. Therefore, it uses evocative imagery and symbolic narratives to hint at these realities, allowing the reader to intuit profound truths rather than merely absorb information. This language operates on multiple levels simultaneously, revealing different layers of meaning depending on the spiritual development and perception of the reader. For example, a passage about a king and his queen might simultaneously be discussing God and the divine feminine, or the human soul and the physical body. A description of a physical object might be an intricate metaphor for a sephira or a cosmic process. This multi-layered approach ensures that while the literal meaning might be accessible, the deeper, esoteric meaning remains shrouded to the uninitiated, fulfilling the injunction against revealing its secrets indiscriminately. It demands a different kind of reading, one that is meditative, interpretive, and deeply personal, inviting the reader to become an active participant in uncovering its wisdom. This intricate linguistic dance is necessary to articulate the profound cosmic drama of creation itself, particularly the tension between pure divine light and its physical vessels, a crisis we will explore next. At the heart of the Zohar's cosmology lies a profound cosmic crisis, a fundamental tension between the infinite, boundless divine light and the finite, created vessels designed to contain it. The Zohar teaches that in the initial stages of creation, God's light emanated with such overwhelming intensity that the primordial vessels, fragile and unrefined, shattered. This cataclysmic event is known as the breaking of the vessels, Shevarat ha-Kelim. Imagine an explosion of pure, uncontained energy attempting to fit into containers too small and weak to hold it. The result is fragmentation, a scattering of divine sparks throughout all of creation. This is not seen as a failure of God, but a necessary step for the existence of our world, a world characterized by duality, imperfection, and the potential for choice. Due to this shattering, patches of divine light, or holy sparks, became trapped within material reality, within all physical objects, and even within the concept of evil itself. Our world, therefore, is not merely a secular space, but a realm infused with hidden divinity, waiting to be redeemed. This cosmic flaw explains the existence of suffering, imperfection, and spiritual exile in our lives. The breaking of the vessels sets the stage for humanity's spiritual mission, to engage in tikkun olam, the repair of the world. Through our actions, our adherence to divine commandments, and our mystical intentions, we are believed to have the power to uplift these trapped sparks and help restore the broken harmony of creation. This monumental task, however, relies on recognizing the fundamental interconnectedness of all things, particularly the intricate balance of masculine and feminine principles within the divine itself. One of the most revolutionary and often misunderstood teachings of the Zohar is its profound exploration of masculine and feminine principles within the divine Godhead itself. Traditional theology often portrays God as singularly masculine or beyond gender entirely. The Zohar, however, presents a more nuanced and dynamic view, asserting that a complete understanding of God requires acknowledging both male and female aspects, not as separate deities, but as integrated, interdependent facets of the one divine reality. These masculine and feminine attributes are primarily expressed through the Sephirot, particularly through Chochmah, wisdom, often associated with the masculine principle of pure intellect and expansive giving, and Binah, understanding, associated with the feminine principle of receiving, nurturing, and giving form to that wisdom. The most prominent feminine Sephirah, however, is Malchut, kingdom, also known as the Shekinah, the divine presence that dwells within creation and among humanity. The Zohar describes a cosmic dance, a sacred union, zivug, between the masculine and feminine Sephirot, especially between Netzach/Hod or Yesod, masculine qualities, and Malchut, feminine qualities. This divine coupling is not merely metaphorical. It is seen as the engine of creation, the source of blessing and sustenance for all existence. When these aspects are in perfect harmony, the world experiences blessings and spiritual flow. When they are separated or out of balance, it results in cosmic disharmony, exile, and suffering. Humanity's spiritual task, therefore, includes fostering this divine union through righteous actions and mystical intention, helping to restore balance within the Godhead and in the world. This profound insight, however, remains largely hidden in plain sight, encoded within the Zohar's rich tapestry of codes and parables. The Zohar's wisdom is rarely straightforward, its deepest truths often hidden like precious jewels beneath layers of seemingly simple narratives. It employs an elaborate system of codes, parables, and allegorical interpretations to convey its mystical insights, deliberately obscuring its profound meanings from the casual reader. This technique of hidden in plain sight is central to its pedagogy. A story depicting a conversation between rabbis walking on a road might, on one level, be a charming tale of companionship. But for the initiated, it unveils intricate metaphysical discussions about the nature of the soul, the structure of the cosmos, or the interplay of divine attributes. The journey itself, or the landscape they traverse, holds symbolic weight, each detail potentially a key to unlocking deeper consciousness. Furthermore, the Zohar is renowned for its use of gematria, the ancient practice of assigning numerical values to Hebrew letters and words. This allows for intricate connections between seemingly unrelated concepts based on their shared numerical sum, revealing hidden layers of meaning within the Torah and other sacred texts. The very sequence of letters or the slight variation in a word can indicate astronomical or spiritual secrets. This linguistic and numerical encoding meant that the Zohar was not meant to be read in the conventional sense, but to be unpacked through diligent study, contemplation, and often oral tradition passed down from teacher to student. These codes transform the text into a living puzzle, constantly challenging the reader to look beyond the obvious. It is these deeper, coded meanings that often touch upon the most profound topics, including the eagerly anticipated messianic redemption, an obsession we explore next. The Zohar is deeply imbued with a profound messianic anticipation, a longing for the ultimate redemption of Israel and the world. Its intricate symbolism and cosmic narratives frequently culminate in discussions about the coming of the Messiah, viewing this event not just as a historical occurrence, but as the final stage of Tikkun Olam, the full repair of the shattered vessels. The Zohar frames the Messianic era as the ultimate restoration of harmony, both within the divine realms and in our physical world. This messianic fervor is intricately woven into the text's understanding of exile and redemption. The long and often painful history of the Jewish people, the destruction of the temples, and their dispersal among nations are all interpreted through a Kabbalistic lens. This external exile is seen as a reflection of a deeper spiritual exile, the separation of the divine feminine, Shekinah, from the divine masculine, a rupture caused by the breaking of the vessels. The coming of the Messiah, therefore, is depicted as the ultimate reunification, the complete healing of these cosmic wounds. It will be a time when the pure divine light, previously fragmented and trapped, will be fully revealed, leading to an era of universal peace, knowledge, and spiritual enlightenment. This intense focus on messianic redemption deeply influenced later Kabbalistic movements and fueled fervent hopes. This powerful messianic narrative, however, was also one of the key points of contention, causing significant friction with many established rabbinic authorities who viewed some of its interpretations with suspicion. This leads us to the crucial question of why some rabbis, despite its profound spiritual depth, ultimately rejected the Zohar. Despite its immense spiritual appeal and its eventual widespread acceptance, the Zohar was not universally embraced by all rabbis and Jewish communities. A significant number, particularly in earlier centuries, approached it with deep skepticism and sometimes outright rejection. Their opposition stemmed from several crucial concerns, often rooted in a steadfast commitment to traditional Jewish law and a fear of theological deviation. One primary concern was the Zohar's complex and often anthropomorphic descriptions of God and the Sephirot. Critics argued that these vivid portrayals could easily lead the uninitiated to polytheism or dualism, fundamentally undermining the bedrock principle of monotheism that defines Judaism. The idea of male and female within God, for example, was a radical departure for many. Another major point of contention was the perceived overshadowing of halakha, Jewish law. Some feared that emphasizing mystical introspection and esoteric knowledge might diminish the importance of meticulous observance of the commandments, leading to antinomian tendencies. If divine unity could be achieved through mystical ascent, would traditional prayers and rituals still hold their central place? Furthermore, the Zohar's language and allegories were seen as dangerously opaque. Critics worried that its cryptic nature could be easily misinterpreted, leading to false messianic movements or heretical sects, a fear that, tragically, sometimes materialized in history. These concerns, however, did little to stem the tide of the Zohar's influence, which soon began to spread rapidly across continents. Despite the initial resistance and the warnings of some rabbinic authorities, the Zohar's mystical gravity proved irresistible, leading to its remarkable spread across Jewish communities throughout the world. From its suspected origins in 13th century Spain, its influence radiated outwards, carried by scholars and mystics who found its profound insights utterly compelling. The expulsion of Jews from Spain in 1492 played an unexpected role in its dissemination. As Spanish Jews, or Sephardim, dispersed across the Ottoman Empire, North Africa, and later to various parts of Europe, they carried their prized Kabbalistic texts, including the Zohar, with them. This diaspora inadvertently became the vehicle for its global propagation. Centers of Kabbalistic study emerged in places like Safed in Ottoman Palestine, which became a vibrant hub where scholars meticulously studied, commented on, and propagated the Zohar's teachings. In Safed, towering figures like Rabbi Isaac Luria, known as the Arizal, developed sophisticated new systems of Kabbalah that built upon and further elucidated the Zohar's core concepts. His teachings, in turn, inspired a new wave of Zohar scholarship and made its ideas even more accessible to a wider circle of students. Manuscripts were copied and disseminated, and eventually, printed editions made the text even more widely available, though still primarily within scholarly circles. This continental spread showcased the Zohar's enduring power, establishing it as a foundational text in much of Jewish mysticism. Its influence, however, was not confined to Jewish circles alone. It began to seep into other spiritual traditions, particularly impacting Kabbalistic influence on Christianity and the occult. The Zohar's profound mystical framework and its underlying Kabbalistic principles were not contained within Judaism alone. Over centuries, aspects of its teaching, often filtered and reinterpreted, began to exert a significant influence on Christian mysticism, Renaissance thought, and various Western esoteric and occult traditions. This cross-pollination created fascinating, albeit sometimes controversial, intellectual and spiritual hybrids. Christian Kabbalah, a distinct movement that emerged in the Renaissance, saw scholars like Pico della Mirandola and Johannes Reuchlin studying the Zohar and other Kabbalistic texts. They believed that Jewish Kabbalah held keys to understanding Christian doctrine, finding latent Christian truths within its symbolic language and numerical codes. They often used Kabbalistic methods to interpret biblical texts from a Christian perspective, leading to unique theological formulations. Beyond Christianity, the Zohar's ideas about the Sephirot, the tree of life, divine emanations, and magical correspondences profoundly shaped the development of Western esotericism and various occult practices. Groups interested in alchemy, astrology, numerology, and ceremonial magic found rich philosophical and practical inspiration within Kabbalistic principles. The Tree of Life, in particular, became a ubiquitous symbol in these traditions, adapted to various systems of magical and spiritual ascent. While these adaptations often diverged significantly from the Zohar's original Jewish context and intentions, they undeniably demonstrate the text's potent intellectual and spiritual magnetism. The Zohar, initially conceived as a deeply Jewish mystical text, unexpectedly transcended its origins, profoundly shaping the broader landscape of Western esoteric thought. This extraordinary journey brings us back to its enduring significance within the very heart of Jewish identity. For many Jews, particularly within certain Hasidic and Sephardic communities, the Zohar has become an indispensable living text, deeply integrated into their understanding of Jewish identity and practice. It is not merely an academic tome, but a source of profound spiritual connection, ethical guidance, and daily inspiration that enriches their relationship with God, Torah, and their heritage. The Zohar provides a mystical lens through which to view every aspect of Jewish life. It transforms mundane rituals into cosmic acts, imbuing every prayer, every Shabbat observance, and every commandment with deeper, esoteric meaning. Performing a mitzvah, commandment, is no longer just following a rule. It becomes an act of tikkun olam, a conscious participation in elevating divine sparks and bringing unity to the fragmented cosmos. This imbues Jewish practice with extraordinary purpose and spiritual potency. Furthermore, the Zohar offers a powerful counter-narrative to suffering and exile. By interpreting these experiences as part of a larger cosmic drama, the breaking of the vessels and the separation of the Shekinah, it provides a framework for understanding hardship that is imbued with hope for ultimate redemption. It teaches resilience and a profound sense of shared spiritual mission. For those who embrace it, the Zohar is seen as the soul of the Torah, revealing the inner dimension of Jewish wisdom. It paints a vibrant, dynamic picture of God and creation that resonates deeply, offering a path to direct encounter with the divine. Yet, for all its spiritual grandeur, questions inevitably arise about its accessibility and potential pitfalls, leading us to consider whether the Zohar could, in fact, be a spiritual trap. Despite its profound spiritual offerings, the perennial question of whether the Zohar could function as a spiritual trap lingers for many. This concern stems not from an inherent flaw in the text itself, but from the immense power of its teachings and the potential for misinterpretation, misuse, or an ill-prepared approach. The very features that make it so compelling, its mystery, its complexity, its promise of deep spiritual insight, also contain its most significant risks. One major danger lies in the intoxicating allure of its esoteric secrets. An individual might become so focused on uncovering hidden meanings, on the intellectual pursuit of Kabbalistic diagrams and numerical codes, that they neglect the fundamental ethical and moral requirements of a spiritual life. The Zohar itself emphasizes the primacy of mitzvot, commandments, and good deeds, but an unbalanced focus could lead one to prioritize mystical knowledge over practical righteousness. Another potential trap is the temptation to bypass traditional, arduous study for a fast track to spiritual enlightenment. The Zohar, particularly in modern, simplified forms, can appear to offer immediate access to profound truths. However, without the rigorous foundational learning in Torah, Talmud, and ethical literature, one lacks the necessary intellectual and spiritual ballast to navigate its complexities safely, leading to distorted views of God, self, or reality. Finally, there's the risk of spiritual pride or elitism, believing one possesses superior knowledge accessible only through the Zohar. This can alienate individuals from their communities and lead to an arrogant detachment, rather than the humility and interconnectedness the text ultimately seeks to foster. Understanding these potential pitfalls brings us full circle, emphasizing why, despite all its dangers and controversies, the Zohar still matters deeply today. In an era inundated with information, yet often starved for depth, the Zohar continues to resonate as a powerful and relevant spiritual text. Its enduring significance lies in its unique ability to address fundamental human questions about purpose, suffering, and the nature of reality with profound, nuanced answers that simple rationalism often overlooks. It offers a bridge between the physical and the metaphysical, making the divine tangible. For many, the Zohar serves as a critical antidote to spiritual apathy and an overly materialistic worldview. It re-enchants the world, revealing cosmic significance in everyday actions and demonstrating that the universe is not a cold, random place, but a living, interconnected manifestation of divine energy. This perspective can infuse daily life with a sense of wonder and meaning. Furthermore, in a fragmented world, the Zohar's teachings on Tikkun Olam, repair of the world, and the interconnectedness of all things offer a compelling call to action. It empowers individuals by suggesting that our spiritual and ethical choices have cosmic repercussions, giving us a tangible role in healing and perfecting creation. This message of personal responsibility and collective repair is more urgent now than ever. Ultimately, the Zohar's enduring appeal lies in its invitation to a deeper, more intimate relationship with the divine. It challenges us to look beyond the surface, to seek the hidden light within all things, and to participate actively in the ongoing dance of creation and redemption. Its cryptic pages continue to spark curiosity, inspire introspection, and offer pathways to profound spiritual understanding, proving its timeless relevance for those brave enough to explore its depths. Make sure to subscribe for more religious videos and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. We'll see you in the next one.